Hello folks, so this is another update on my progress towards the eventual auto line wrapped, code formatted, code presentation, virtualized whitespace, whatever you want to call this feature. That little ongoing project has another step is done, and the one that's done now is last time I showed you that I could navigate over here. The messages buffer is a bit special because it is read-only, so the fact that I could navigate it isn't really that special because the navigation system isn't different, but there were a few quirks in it that weren't really exposed because of the fact that I couldn't edit it. In particular, it didn't show that it was actually not handling spaces that get skipped here. So to give you an example of what I mean, if we come right here, we can see that this does not, like if I go out to here or here or here, right, these are all the first character of their line, right? This is the first character of its line, that's the first character of its line, and so on. This one here is actually the third character of its line. That's because there's two spaces that actually start that line. But since whitespace is being virtualized, that doesn't just mean that I indent the line by a certain starting amount, but it also means that I ignore whatever whitespace was actually there to start the line, right? So the first character I'm actually allowed to navigate to on this line is the third character of the line. That means there's spaces behind it. Now that's not really an issue unless you want to do something like hit backspace here, because you don't really want to sit here backspacing characters you can't see and then eventually end up on this line. You want to hit backspace and all at once end up on the line above here, right? Because I mean, if this was actually the first character of the line, as we're sort of showing it as the first character of the line, then when you hit backspace it would end up on the line above right away. So, now that I am on this next step here, what I've done is, and this is the really big sort of the special sauce that makes the whole thing come together, is the way my buffer positioning system works. I have a lot of different coordinate systems, and then whenever I put the cursor at a specific spot, I have the ability to ask for this location. I can specify the location in any of the coordinate systems and then get back the coordinates in any other system, right? So if I need it in XYs, if I need it in which byte am I on, if I need it in what's the line number and the character number, I can get that. Well, I have a new one called apparent character indexing. Right, this is the apparent character index positioning system, and this is the new one, and it's probably got some bugs, it's true, because it's a brand new positioning system, and that is the core of how the entire buffer engine works, so it's going to take a little while to make sure that it's really super solid. But I've written the basic metadata structure that I need to track this on whitespace virtualized files. And this is also the feature that will allow Unicode, because the main problem in Unicode is that multiple bytes can represent one character. Well, that is just another thing where I'm going to need apparent character indexing instead of absolute indexing, which is what I've used up until now, that is just relying on which byte I'm on. Now, which byte I'm on is still very useful for a lot of things, like when I want to go insert or edit the text in any place, I want to use absolute positioning because the buffer system that I'm communicating to, the underlying buffer system, only understands absolute positioning. It's the layer above that provides all of the more rich, more complex positioning systems. So I still need absolute positioning systems for a lot of things, and it's actually just a small number of features that require the character positioning system, but that just means it's going to take more time to make sure that it's really solid and working in every possible case. But in the meantime, since I have it, I can now make an I can now edit a virtualized whitespace buffer, right? I can make a buffer that's actually editable and has virtualized whitespace. And to demonstrate the actual editing, obviously I can like backspace and type and delete, and I can delete ranges and so on. But the more interesting thing is what happens here at the edge here. Now, right now, the way the file is set up, all of these are the first line character of their line, right? First, first, first. These are all the first. So that's not really going to test it at all, because if I hit backspace, that's just like hitting backspace on a line with no virtualized whitespace. It'll just pop up to the next line, and nothing interesting happens, really. But let's add a bunch of space there now, right? So watch the character number at the top. It's at a 1 right now. My cursor won't move, but I'm inserting spaces into the file. Now, maybe eventually what we want to do is say that you can't actually do that, or that you can just now repurpose space. If you're at the beginning of a line and you hit space, it means something other than insert space, right? We'll see. But for now, let's just suppose that I insert all those spaces. So we can imagine that I had a file that already had that much space there, right? It's got 48 spaces, and then I is the 49th character on the line. And what happens when I hit backspace? Well, the way the cursor, the apparent character indexing positioning system works, right? It's a long name. The way the positioning system works for apparent character index is that it doesn't count any of those spaces as apparent characters. They're not shown on the screen. They are according to what is being shown to the user, they are not characters, right? They're not being shown as characters, so they're not apparent. If they're not apparent, they're not indexed, which means I can move left one, and I move one apparent character to the left, and I'm now on the new line character at the end of this line, right? And if I hit right, I skip all those whitespace characters because none of them are apparent, and I move left and right by apparent characters. Well, backspace is the same way. If I hit backspace, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I hit // If I hit backspace, I expect that I will be on the line above and that it will have deleted all the spaces in between. And there you have it, right? So what just happened was all the spaces between the beginning of that line and the position where my cursor was were not being shown. They weren't apparent, but they were still in bytes. So when I did the edit operation, they got removed. But when I asked it to backspace, it found the range it needed to backspace by backing up one character and deleting it, right? So that is the character indexed, the apparent character indexed positioning system, which will allow me to do Unicode and make this system work better. And that's what I've got for today. Thank you all for following along, and I'll update you again later. Bye-bye.